Professor Li, let me come to you first. What do you think of this controversy, let's say, that we have seen so far? Some people are very much supporting it. They're thinking, you know, after such a long time of being very reluctant to teach our kids about sex, now China is really taking these very important steps. But other people are saying it's too much, it's too explicit. What do you think of it?
Well, I think this textbook is probably the best available textbook on sexuality education in China, or one of the top three. I think there's a controversy because, first of all, there is this generation gap. Now, we think that the children at elementary school and middle school should have proper language to talk about sexuality and sexual culture. But most of the parents didn't receive any sexuality education when they were elementary and high school students.
I understand that. I understand the need, absolutely. But I do understand the concern of the mother. For instance, this age group is very much in the spotlight, 7 to 10. Is it not really too young? I mean, in different countries, we have similar controversy. Ms. Li, what about you?
Yeah, firstly about the textbooks. I personally also think these books are really good. They are very relevant, very much needed, and of very good quality, I should say. Because they're developed in line with the national policies and also referred to the international technical guidance on sexuality education, which provides a basic framework on the objectives and the topics and learning objectives. Yeah, so it's a very good effort. But in terms of, you know, the age appropriate, to ensure the contents are age appropriate, that is a basic principle of the international technical guidance. So the topics that are under the controversy, basically they are included in the technical guidance. They're suggested by international technical guidance. So I don't think that's anything wrong to talk about those issues.
But do you understand people's shock, people's reaction? Do. Why do you think they have this kind of reaction?
As Professor Li has said, because the parents, as parents, we lacked that kind of education during our childhood. And we also lack, you know, the awareness about what sexuality education really means. It does not just talk about sex, sexual behavior, or sexual intercourse. Sexuality is a very comprehensive concept. It covers not just the physical and the biological aspect, but also, most importantly, the social and emotional aspects.
And increasingly, as we are entering this new age, more and more children seem to be in need of sexual education instead of the opposite. I have some statistics here. For instance, a total of 443 cases of sexual violence against children under 14, involving 778 victims, were reported in 2016, according to an annual report released by the Beijing-based Girls Protection NGO. Now, sexual education is undoubtedly a crucial topic in China. What can be done to make this work better? I mean, shouldn't we have informed the parents a bit better, or give even the families choice? Maybe maybe some families think that the business of educating their kids about sex is a family business. What do you think? How do you react to that?
Actually, based on my limited research, a lot of parents prefer the school taking over most of the responsibilities of educating their children in terms of sexuality because they feel embarrassed. They don't have proper training themselves in talking about these issues. And they think that, most parents think that experts, they have done a lot of research and they have done a lot of action-based research, so they know more than parents to talk about sensitive issues as sexuality. And there's also the information gap. If we don't have proper scientific language to talk about sexuality, then kids will go to the internet to look for very, very unscientific and unsupported information on sexuality.
Ms. Li, do you think the families could be involved better? Maybe while we're talking to these young children, their parents should also be informed.
Definitely. Yeah? I think one of the major learnings from this recent controversy, the debate, is that parents do need a lot of education And
More
it's a
than we
life
think.
learning. And
Yes.
yes, exactly. And parents, once they are educated, they can become the best supporters for schools in providing the best education for the children. Yeah, so parents and schools should work in partnership. Yeah.
Now, there's a controversy in Switzerland, for instance, where people are concerned about the age. They think that the kids should not be exposed to sex education before the age of 10, for instance, and that some children should be given the choice of whether they want to go for this kind of education or not, because in some maybe not so much in China, but in some countries, the religious factor is also very important. In some families, how do you look at the sensitivity that this kind of education must have?
Well, sexuality education is not just about reproduction or how babies are born or conceived. It is about family relationship, healthy communication, how to protect your body, and how to have safe sex in the future. So I think it's closely related to gender. When kids are exposed to what is a man, what is a woman, it's not too early to talk about sexuality anymore.
Yeah.
These two should go hand in hand.
But after this incident, do you think the authority will give it some thoughts as to whether more detailed work could be looked into, for instance, so that we can make sure that the kids of younger age will not get access to the books of that are designed for kids of older age?
Yeah, I do think the schools can play a more proactive role in reaching out to parents, involve the parents in the discussions. And at the same time, I think people also need more awareness about, to more scientific information, more accurate evidence to help them understand that, those fears of keeping the children away from the topic of sex or sexuality is actually unfounded, There's a lot of research that shows that talking about sex and sexuality with children does not encourage them to have early sex.
Exactly.
That's already a lot of research done.
Right.
And people need to know about that.
And the parents need to know about
Exactly.
that
Right.
so that
Yes.
they have more confidence in these education.
Right.